Hello everybody and welcome to build update number 3. And in build update number 3, I noticed my coat fucking freezing up here, absolutely freezing. Forgot to put on the heating before I came up, so my own fault. Anyway, build update number 3 and build update number 3 doesn't make me look too cold. Build update number 3, we're going to get the painting done. Okay, so I'm after masking off the canopy area. I still have to mask the canopies themselves. We'll get there further down the video. Haven't even started yet, they're still on the sprue. Anyway, I've masked off the canopy, and I've all the missiles and the rockets and the drop tanks, petrol drop diesel or whatever the fucking is, not diesel, aviation fuel. With the drop tanks anyway, they're all I have them on sticks and things. So we'll go down to the bench. I'll show you the preparation work I've done and how we're going to proceed. We're going to start off anyway with NATO Black. I'm covering everything. It's a nice base colour. It's a nice. I use it as my undercoat. I use it as primer. The whole shebang. It's grand because it shows up any flaws. Once you get everything NATO Black and it's dried in, you can see any areas that you need further bit of sanding, anything like that. It just shows it up. It shows it up nicely, rather than putting down your base colour and then go, oh God, look at that big horrible line. Just makes it easier. And it's good for the pre-shading then as well. So we're going to go down to the bench and we're going to have a look at the prep work I've done, getting it ready for painting. Okay. Okay, so as you see now, there she is. I have the canopy all masked off. No masking on the underside because everything is going to be NATO Black. And here you can see the edge of the sticks there. I have everything on sticks. Okay, all the Ordinance. That's the big drop tank. And we've got the rockets as well. We've got them on sticks as well. So everything's going to get a NATO Black, nice undercoat, nice base for painting, and anything. It's a handy sort of start for pre-shading as well, so you can kind of go light coats or heavy coats over them to whatever degree of main colour you actually want. So I'm going to get started on this. We're going to get everything NATO Black. Once everything's NATO Black, we'll come back, we'll have a look at it, and just to see what I'm saying, that any areas that need a bit further work, be it sanding or whatever, what might need a bit of attention, and if not, then we can carry on then with the pre-shading. Just mark off some areas with bits of white, so when I go over them with the base colours, I can have a sort of a slightly darker or whatever in certain areas. Okay, so get that done, come back to you when everything is nice and black. Okay, so now there, as you can see, it has all been NATO Blacked. Okay, top, bottom, inside, outside, underside, overside, bombs, what are these things? Drop tanks. There we go. Drop tanks. Just drop the tank. Everything's gotten a nice coat now of the NATO Black. After looking over everything, I'm happy with all my my lines and things like that, where panels went together. Like the nose cone here, there's no visible marks around it or anything like that. Okay, as you can see, even though I could see a line there before I painted. That's the great thing about the NATO Black, using that as a sort of an undercoat. You get to see, because black is definitely the main colour that will show off any of these little imperfections and areas that you don't quite get right. So next step now is to do a bit of white, panel accenting, just for the pre-shading, dark and light sections in panels. So I'll do certain areas just a little bit white into them, Same on the underside, even though the underside is going to be white completely, by sort of pre-shading some panels dark and white. When I go to put down the final coat of white, then I can give it a nice light gentle coats and build it up, so that the panels that I've pre-done, shall we say, it's just to stick out that little bit better. Just, it's all done for effect, do you know what I mean? We're trying to get the best effect out of it. Well, I'm trying to anyway. As I said, I mean, I'm not an aircraft person. Learning lots of new techniques here, you know, flicking over and back to the old YouTubes, getting a few hints and tips. Not necessarily applying the hints and tips, but getting to know them anyway. Because a lot of them are, you know, you need really, really good eyesight for, and I don't have it. You need kind of nimble fingers. No, don't have them either. And you need lots of products and expensive airbrushes to get thin lines and all that kind of thing. No, don't have that either. I've got my my cheap and cheerful Chinese airbrush. It does a fabulous job for what I use it for. Okay, I don't use it for any fine work. Anything fine work I do by hand with the old hairy sticks. So, you know, I'm happy with where I am. Even though I'm after sort of moving on to, you know, modern jet. Well, semi-modern anyway, so 70s. But, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. There's nothing really, you know, granted, it did take a lot longer to get to this stage than I'm sure some of you probably would have got. But, it's just a lot, just have to be neater with the work compared to armour modelling. Your seams and all that, they've got to be really, really clean, and anywhere where pieces are joined together, neatly sanded down, because it's all smooth lines here, you know, like where the engines went on here in the front. There was a pure, really visible line there, and I was there going, oh, no matter, I couldn't get it out, and I was sanding away, but I was feeling with my finger at the same time and saying, I don't feel ridge or anything like that, don't feel a transition. Then when after giving it the NATO black and all that, now that line, that transition is totally gone, and I'm really, really happy with that. So I'm happy with how I'm proceeding, shall we say. Still not up to, say, the standard of a lot of you out there that are that do this a lot. You know, I didn't go rescribing any of the panel lines or anything like that. No, you know, I'll leave that to a later stage. I don't have a panel scriber anyway, and even if I did, I'd probably still be all over the place. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. So the next step for this now is to use the white. Just make a couple of panels stick out a bit. Sort of finish off the pre-shading. In the meantime, I can start working away on the final colours for the Ordinance. So I got to check out what colours they are and things like that. So I'll get back to you as soon as I've got the pre-shading all finished off with, and we'll have a look at that before we go into the final coats. Okay. Okay, as you can see now, I'm after getting the pre-shading done. Now, it's not very neat, I must say, but I'm happy with it because I've got the areas that I want pre-shaded. Basically, there's the top and the underneath. Okay, so all that pre-shading done. Now I can start on with the main base colours. I've also gotten the main colour down on some of the Ordnance and the drop tanks. Okay, they're white. I used X2 on those, which is to me as X2 white, which is a gloss white, and works grand, you know. It would be the colour that I would have chosen anyway, even though I when I was ordering paints, I actually ordered XF2, but I got X2. Not sure, we can't whinge, because I'll get to use it anyway. And of course I've got some of the other Ordinance done as well. Okay, they're all nicely white, all my rockets and missiles and God knows whatever you want to call them. Okay, they've all been painted white. And what I did was with these, I started with these ones first, so I sprayed them white. And by the time I'd finished the pre-shading and everything else, I could move the clips to a different side. So therefore I got under where the clips were. Then I realised that these things go in to that anyway, and I'd be hiding one of them inside in the little grooves there. Same here, there, come on, zoom in, there and here are two little grooves that the fins and the missiles sit into, so I needn't have bothered. But like everything else, I know it's ready and I know it's done properly. Isn't that what they always say? I know it's done. Okay, so next step now for these, well, for the Ordnance and things, there's just a little bit of more touch-up painting on them, some tips, there's decals to go onto them as well, and with the aircraft itself, I've got white for the underneath side and a nice grey for the top. And once they're done, then it's just a piece of detail painting. You know, the engine exhausts, or the flamey bits, okay, they've got to be all done. So what's next? Next, I suppose, is just get stuck in and get painting. I'm kind of in two minds whether to do the white first or the grey first. What I think I'll do is I'll do the grey, the top half, the top section first, do that in the grey. Then I can kind of mask off where the white is going to be, mask off any grey, and then I can do the white. Hopefully, you know, I don't have to mask the whole thing, just along the wing tips here, the line along the side. Yeah, that's about it, and everything else then gets painted with the white. So we'll see how things go anyway. Okay, I'll get that done and I'll get back to you, and we'll have a look and see how all that turned out. Hopefully it turned out to plan. If not, then, well, what can I do? Okay, let's have a look and see how all that turns out. Okay, so there she is. The grey is done on the top. I gotta do the bottom next. So that means I've got to do a little bit of masking there, so I don't get white onto where I don't want it. Basically, simple as that. I want white on the undersides, but it'll come up along here as well, along the side of that. This area here is going to be black, so that I'm not really too worried about that. But I need to kind of mask along here as well, because the bottom section of that is going to be white as well. So bits of white and bits of other things to go into there. Yeah. So bit of masking next, and then I can do the white. When the white's done, come back and we'll have a look at that and see how all, you know, the main colours then will be on. Then it'll be on to sort of getting the other colours onto it. You know, like I said, this going to be kind of I'm not sure whether it's black or not, but it's a darker colour underneath here. Also then there's what else have we got? We got sort of, I think there's, I'm not sure whether it's a decal now or we have to paint them. Is the tips of the wings there are going to be red, And there's a few other little colours here and there to go into it as well. That'd be sort of the detail painting side of it. We got the exhaust, rockety, framey, covery things there. Those bits there. Like again, do you know what I mean? I don't know what they're called, so I have to make up a name for them. You know me and my technical terms, I'm not the best. So I'm going to get that done anyway. I'm going to get the thing masked off, get the white covered, get the white done, should I say. Then we'll have a look at that and see what's the story with that and what's next. Masking should be easy enough because I don't have to be sort of too particular along the top of the wings. Just kind of cover them so they kind of stick out a bit, so I won't get any paint rolled over onto the sides. Shouldn't do, you know, but sort of just in case, it's handy to do the bit of masking. So I'll get that done. We'll come back and we'll have a look at that. Okay, so now the white is done. Well, I do have another couple of bits of white because after I did all the white and took off all the masking tape and everything else, I'm back to the instructions to see what was next, and realised that the flaps are to be white as well. So I can go back and do them. That's easy enough. Just a quick bit of masking tape and you know yourself, job's your end. But we'll have a look at the rest of it anyway. Okay. Nose cone is done. Tips of the rear wings are done. Rear wings, I know that they're stabilizers, something they're called. And we've got the underside done as well. And as you can see, with the effects of the pre-shading has kind of come out quite nicely. Once that gets weathered and sort of all worked in, it should be absolutely gorgeous. Well, I'm hoping it will be anyway. I also used here on the vents. I still don't know what they're called. Okay, on these bits here I used dark iron on those. So that's that section done anyway. So I got to go back and do the white here on the flaps, right? So we know that much. Also got to do some of the other detail painting. Like there's a bit of the wings here at the ends have to be red. A couple of other little bits and pieces where there's little highlights of colour here and there on them. There's another bit to be done up here as well on the tail. So we're getting there slowly but surely. I'm not spending as much time on this lately as I would normally on armour kits and things. It's just that work is kind of taken over. I'm working weird hours, so I'm not really getting much time at the bench. But when I do, I'm getting good work done. Well, I think it's good anyway. I'm quite happy with my progress. I think I'm coming along nicely. It's looking good. So next thing is get the white flaps done on those and the other little bits of detail painting, and hopefully then at that stage I'll be ready for decals. So I get the detail painting done. We'll come back, we'll have a quick look at that, and then it'll be a case of gloss coat and decals, transfers, stickers, whatever you want to bloody well call them. Okay, so we'll get all that done anyway. So I get the whites done, detail painting, come back then we'll have a look. Okay, and now I'm after getting all the detail painting done on it. That's, say, the main detail parts of it that have to be painted separately. The flaps on the wings here, there's a bit of silver here, white on the flaps there. We've got white underneath, but we've got little red tips here. We've got silver in there, red tips there. We've got the still don't know what to call these things here. Somebody please tell me what they're called. You know, by the time this video is out it'll be all over, but it would still be nice to know what they're called. We're calling them jet exhausts, okay, but even, you know, I don't know what they're called. Flamey, shooty things, right? So what's left now is the decals, transfers, stickers. She's all ready for them. it's all been gloss coated now as well. I'm after getting a nice layer of gloss coat on that, so the decals should sit onto that nicely, and then another layer of gloss coat over that once all the decals are on. Same here with the a lot of the Ordinance. The drop tanks painted the little tips there silver, or red should I say, silver, you can plainly see that red. They're painted red. I tried to get the little join in there, just added a bit of wash into that, cleaned it off, so it just makes it stick out that little bit better. I don't know if it even shows up, but you can see the just ever so slightly. Come on, zoom in there we go. Ever so slightly there, you can see that they're it's got the kind of like, just breaks up the panel and makes it look like there is an actual break in it there. It's the same with these ones here, the two smaller ones. Same idea again. A little bit of wash in here just to kind of bring them out. The rockets, tips of them. These ones I've done them in NATO black. It asks for a dark grey. I don't have a dark grey, but the NATO black is kind of a dark grey. It's more of a grey than a black. So right, we've got those ones. There's decals to go onto all these, and oops-a-daisy, the shorter ones, they're all done. Burnt iron here, silver tips on them, with a little bit of silver there in them as well. Okay, and again, decals to go onto them. And we've got the bombs as well. Okay, they're after being painted in NATO green. Right, so I've got decals to go onto them. Right, so we're all ready now for the decals, and believe me, the decals are a big job on this. They're going to take me quite some time because there are so many of them. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to kind of clean down my whole area here, get rid of all the tins of paint and things like that, because I'm a messy worker. I am. Well, if we can zoom out here and that now, you can see my desk. As you can see, I am a messy worker. Okay, don't have that much space here to work on. I've got the computer there in front of me as well. So we've got, there's the big tiger. So you can see the kind of space I have to work in. So if I want to go do decals and do them properly, I'm going to have to clean down all this, make myself a bit of space. Okay, so next job for me is to clean down my whole area and then get started then on the decals. And like I said, the decals in this is not a small job. We'll have a quick look at the instruction sheet here. It shows you all the decals to go onto it. Right, there we go, look at that. That's the decal placements. So there are quite a lot of decals, transfers, stickers, all those kind of things. There are plenty of them, no shortage of them whatsoever. So I'm going to get started on that. That's all I can do really. So I'm going to clean down, get started on the decals, and I'll do a couple of the decals. I'll do say half the decals for the top, and we'll have a look at that. Then I'll finish off the top. Again, we'll have a look at it, and we'll start on the underneath side of it then. So I'll stop every now and then, rather than literally showing you every single decal. We'll be here till this will be video, instead of being a sort of an hour-long video, it'll be a 10-hour-long video. And nobody wants to watch somebody putting on decals for 10 hours, and that's for sure. So, like I said, I'll show you every couple of decals every so often, how they're coming along. Okay, and any problems I'm having with the decals. Shouldn't have any problems with the decals because they're all cartograph decals, and from what I've gathered, cartograph are amongst the best. So, next step, decals, stickers, all the writing basically. Okay, I'll get that done. We'll come back. We'll start looking at that. Now, as you can see from that, I've started on the decals. Still have plenty more to do. Plenty more to do. But I've done a lot of the big ones. So there's a big diamond on the top and a couple more here at the sides of the big ones, and there's still plenty more to do. But that's what I've gotten done so far. Okay. Now, one thing I will say about the decals, compared to the decals that I'm used to, I won't say normal decals, but the decals that I'm used to for armour, they're not sort of cartograph super thin decals, but to say the normal Tamiya decals and Academy decals, they're reasonably thick, and they're kind of quite, you can work with them, you can play around with them, move them around and things like that. These things I have noticed, they're extremely fragile. Now they're brilliant decals, they're sort of so thin, but the thing about them being so thin is, especially with the bigger ones, now when I go into the smaller ones I probably won't have that problem, but with the larger decals they'll roll up very fast. Now by using the microset and microsol or whatever it is, I have them here in the pens. That's the one I use first, one, and the over one. You've got, if you put that down first, they kind of, it's like magnet, they kind of stick to it and they go down absolutely beautiful. Still in all, they are very fragile. When you try to go moving them around, if you've got them slightly in the wrong place or whatever, they're very easy to damage. If you look here now, I took a little chip out of that one there, and the same here on that side there with the navy. I took 2 chunks out of that one. I had to touch it up with a bit of paint. It did the job as well. Once the decals are down, you can't touch off them for a while, because they're just so fragile. Once they're down for a while, they're grand, they're absolutely gorgeous, and you wouldn't even know they're decals. They're so good, and they lay down absolutely beautiful. I do have a good base for it. I have a nice glossy base for them. They're going down lovely. All the panels and all that, you can see the panels lines through them and things like that, so when I go to do the weathering they should all kind of work in nicely. But so far so good. I've all the underneath side to do as well yet, and I've all the ordnance, all the bombs and things, they've all got to get decals, and the drop tanks, they're there. So all the painting is done on those. So here's my decal sheet, and as you can see, I still have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of decals. Did I add in enough tons? I'm not sure, but tons, there's another one for you. So it is the Christmas time. I'm not doing very much in the evenings. I'm just doing a couple of decals, and spend most of my time just looking at YouTube and other bits and pieces. Mojo, I wouldn't say it was gone, but it was on a sort of a lull. I had a bit of a lull in the old Mojo. This thing was sitting in front of me, and by having it just sitting in front of me, it kind of urged me on. So when I did the first couple of decals, I had to get more done. But that's when I it was off this one here. I was putting on the decals there on the front, and I grabbed it like that over the decal. And when I took my hand off, the decal kind of lifted off with it, and it rolled up. But I eventually got it straight. I got it into place. 2 little chunks of it missing. Couldn't, it happens. Touched it up with a bit of paint. No, I didn't do an excellent job with them. And another thing as well is the placement of these. The navy should be actually back a little bit. It should be back as far as here. But unfortunately I put them there. I kind of read the placements. It was my own fault. I kind of misjudged it. But so far I'm really liking it. I think it's coming out absolutely fabulous. I'm really chuffed with how it's coming along. So that's it for this video, lads. I don't want to make the videos too long, because I find it myself, if videos are too long, you'll end up skipping through parts of it. You might miss something in the middle, and also if the videos are too long, you probably won't even watch them. So I'll try and keep them as short as I possibly can. So in the next video, we'll get the rest of the decals done, and we'll hopefully get the weathering done as well. Or I might even just leave that for another video. We'll see how things go. So, like I said, that's it for this video. Stay tuned to the channel for part 3, and we're getting there. Or should I say part 4? Because I think this is part 3. Because I had the build done in 2. So anyway, lads, don't forget to give the old thumbs up, and any comments you want to make, stick them in the box below. I'll get back to you on them. And I do read all your comments. I must admit, I do read all your comments. I may not answer them all, but I do read them all. And the same applies to the Facebook page. I do look at every post that goes up. I do get around to giving it the old thumbs up or whatever. I don't comment on all of them. I just don't have the time. I'm working a lot lately. I'm working as a care assistant, and if anybody knows how care assistants work, it's a case of an hour in this person's house, an hour in that person's house. So I'm kind of going forward and back around the place, fucking all over bloody town, to be honest with you. And I'm working kind of from early in the morning till late in the evening, with breaks, sort of loads of breaks in between. Most of the time spent walking, so I walk the living legs off myself. So when I come back, I just sit down and I just flick through Facebook here on the computer. Like I said, I look at everybody's bills. There's some fabulous bills, and we're up to a staggering figure on the membership for the Facebook page. So I do want to thank everybody for that. So without further ado, I'll leave the video at that, lads. And like I said, don't forget to give it the old thumbs up and subscribe if you've not already subscribed, and if you have, yay, thank you very much. I'll be back to you. So lads, until the next one, stay safe and enjoy your modelling. Go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it. John signing off. I'll catch you in the next one, lads. Stay safe.